Alright everybody, welcome back to your guide for getting into battle, getting into a novice type battle, being able to hold your own and do what you need to do. Alright, so let's get into it here. Check out the intro real fast, just because.
And as usual, stay triggered. Pew pew.
So
pew.
here we got kind of a little bit of an inverted shape, but mostly flat. So what I'm going to talk about here is that not every battle you're coming into is going to be perfectly ideal for some of these ways that people talk about, whether it's like this or like this. It's going to be a little bit different, and the battlefield is going to kind of flow in different ways. So as far as your perfect ideal way of taking a battlefield and understanding it, that can change actually, and that should change to help you gain a better understanding as to how to work your knights, work your monsters a little bit better. But let me just go ahead and do a little I'd love to zoom in this close because it would kind of help you see a little better, but I got to zoom out to here so we can kind of see what we're looking at here as far as some of these monsters are concerned and all that. So I'm just going to hover over the unicorn right now. Could hover over anybody. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to circle the tanks that I have. This is a lizard guard. This is a Fenrir. I know it's red. It's kind of hard to see. We have our knight Cain, who I'm going to use as the tank. We have a dragon in the front. Right here we have our lancer right there. We have a mandrake back here. Got our tank there. We got sort of a flank or tiny tank, the lizard man, which could be a tank in a way, but not quite. And he's going to have to be our supplemental tank. So this is kind of, this is kind of supplemental tank. This is our flanker here. She's going to cover our side, or the Varrock's going to cover our side. And let's see, we've got this big guy back here. He's still trying to climb the rank. He's still trying to get into the front line. So those are our tanks right there. Those are our tanks, our visible tanks that we can field in the front line and be kind of comfortable with. The other ones that are flanks or pseudo tanks that we're seeing there with the lizard man and all that, we'll have to work that to our best degree. But what we have here is we zoom in on our situation, and really what you're trying to come down to understand how to prepare the battlefield, how to work it and all that. They're trying to hit my flank. They're trying to destroy my flank. Now what they could do is Divine Ray, boom, could kill it. Another attack, this guy could do another attack, kill it. He has a lot of opportunities to do that. What I want to do is find their weak opportunities and protect weak opportunities. So, or my weak parts. You want to protect the weak parts. So we're going to give this guy a heal because I put this unicorn nearby just in case, which they did take the bait. They did go after that. Now, they do have their leader in a position that we could just surround and attack him, And so here's some options here. We got this option here. It's 56% chance. Might hit him. It's a green on a green. Not a very good percentile chance to do that. But what I'm looking for right away is what are my opportunities to hit one thing as many times as possible. So if you had a flail with multiple, let's pretend you have a flail with multiple, balls attached to it that are just going to go boom, 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 and just hit the enemy with. How many times are we going to be able to hit with that flail with each individual iron ball attached to the flail? How many times are we going to be able to wrap the enemy with it? Now, I kind of want to count things a little bit. You don't have to do too hard of a count. Mostly this, after a while of doing this will turn into a mental project, and you'll kind of like get it. Be like, oh, I can hit this guy 1, 2, 3, 4. So my dog can hit this guy here. This leader here is in the front with a fire burst, which is a guarantee. It'll do 92 points of damage. You can see his hit points 570 to 391, which will bring it down quite a bit. We press the R1 button. It'll flip between who's going to get hurt for what damage and all that. So that's one hit there. We could do a hit with him on this guy. So that's 2 hits there. That's 81% chance I'm going to hit. So that's a pretty good chance. I think we should try that. We got this little dude. This is 3 hits there. So 3 hits if we hit 56% chance, the only way I can try to guarantee that is by getting another guy to come around and surround and attack him, which I could do with Kane, but this would break my formation. So this is something that you probably see in other people, in other guys and other people telling you not to do it. But in this situation with these guys coming forward, right now I can see that we can see up here that A team is gone, right? So that's their A team. This is this guy right here, Avmer. He's gone. He's done for this set of turns out of 3 out of 12, right? Oh, geez, what am I doing? 3 out of 12, right up there. And so Kane's going right now. We're looking at the Charlie team that can go. That's how we set it up. And then Monica's team is going to go after that. It's B team, so that's literally these two monsters are close enough by, right? So these two monsters are going to come and intercept, which means that if I go here, they're going to try to surround me, and whether I put my Knight Kane or my Dragon in that position where that X is, they could have a better chance to hurt me. It depends on how well we're going to be able to come out of this fight here. So sometimes you're looking for just killing off monsters and stuff. This is another time where you might have an opportunity to take down the leader, and if you can do so, you lessen the amount of guys in the battlefield. And if we can do that, then we'll move forward with, you know, other things that can happen. We could just, the other opportunity or the other way we could do this is just do a couple breaths, play it safe, don't get too involved in it, and see what happens. But sometimes when you think that way, or sometimes when players do this, they put themselves in more danger, because now the enemy has a chance to fully like come forward and like back themselves up, even if you're already at an advantage. You know, they got a chance to come forward and back themselves up and do more to you. So, you know, we could do one of two things. We could wait till the whole team gets there and then try to work one angle at a time. The only problem is that I can see that the Divine Ray is definitely going to hurt my little doggy very, very badly, or the Lizard Man. I could lose the second tier scenario monster right there very easily. The leader does a crit, Avmer does a crit from this guy, and then the Divine Ray goes up and then comes down and goes boom and just destroys it, and you know, it's gone. So my thought process right here is to have this position, which is on the left side, which we're looking at this right here, and these she is basically playing point, so my Valkyrie is playing point. I've got this other monster to play defense. This is my left side flank right now. I can have the left side flank push up a little bit and take care of the left side flank, and then turn into a wall system, offense defense, instead of the V formation that you typically see people talk about. And I could do it like that. So, you know, essentially it's just like kind of like I'm showing you Madden stuff here, like, oh, you do this and you do this and you do. I'm trying to help you out with this, but I have to let you understand that there's times where there's opportunities that you might waste if you didn't do otherwise. And so with this dragon here, yes, you could come up and surround him here. You can see this little chain effect here. If I hover over the dragon, you see this little chained area here. Dragon can go there, go right there, and then chain in the leader. So the leader will be chained in because I've got my monster here, and then I'd have another monster here, and then he's right in the middle, so he would get chained, right? So I could do that, but I could also do that with my leader. And since the dragon can just breath attack over here and just get a free shot anyways, I could have him breath attack and move over. So I've got, essentially I got 1, I got 2, I got, like I said before, just count the numbers. It's really all you got to do most of the time. And you average about 80 to 100 points of damage on average. For most of the stuff, you just kind of want to do some easy math. But if you really want to add it up, then definitely add it up, you know, in your head. There's 4 attacks there. And then what do we also count? We counted this little guy down here, do an extra little point of damage. So there's 5 attacks on him. We might be able to kill him. If not, he's close enough to being able to be taken out with something else at some point. So we could potentially do this. And with only on their team, from me seeing how many healers or protect spells they have or whatever like that, I only see 1 healer here, and I don't even know if they're going to try a heal. They might just do a bomb, but then after that, after this whole set of turns goes through, and we get to the bottom of things, and there's nobody else left to heal him up or him to get out of the way or him to kill off one of my guys that's blocking his whole position, he's gone. So I can just tell you right now, he's dead. Before we even do anything, he's just dead. Just by just looking at the numbers and just adding them up and seeing the potential there. The only thing that you'd have to try to count against is his evasion skills. Now, he's got really good evasion skills, which they typically do. This is probably that's a pretty good example, actually, to look at this. His evasion is going to be really good. He's got magic resistance up, which they give him magic resistance up, which you're not really doing a whole lot of magic, so it's not going to count for him in any good particular way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Kane out there. He's at full hit points. Nobody's really hit him up yet. Nobody can really hurt him too well or too badly yet. We're going to put him out there. We're going to chain it with Kane. And we're just going to take whatever counter damage we have. But you see now it's gone from 93% up to 100% hitting this guy. And so now we've got the advantage. Got the advantage now. So we're going to try this. And he can't do any shield blocking or anything. This is a perfect example. I was able to do shield block. He wasn't. So, if I want to increase my opportunities here, I could do a bite attack, move away, keep a position open to move something else in to hit him up again. So, just besides counting the numbers, you can also see other opportunities that may present themselves to you later on, like this Hellhound attack, which we can do Hellbite, which is going to do 116 damage, maybe a little bit more, or a Hellfire Burst, which will do 92, also hits the other guy. Since we're going to go for a straight up kill, we got to kind of see what else is going to play out. So we got Monica going next. B team is going to come up, hit Kane. Right here, these two monsters are going to move up and go boom, boom, hit Kane. Sorry, my arrow's over all the place. Hit Kane. They might go for the dragon. They might go for Kane. They could go for any of those two, or maybe they might even try to go for the leader, which I don't know if they're even going to even try that, but you know, that is an option that they obviously have. I'm not worried about it because they're not powerful monsters. They're just bronze golems, and it's kind of not a big enough deal to me. We have an extra space here in case you want to sneak an extra guy in here. Why don't we try just to see about a Hellfire Burst, just to see how that's going to go. So he's going to be down to what, 254 HP. We'll see about that. The good thing is now he's chained in. Even with, you know, even if he wasn't forced, he wouldn't be able to do all that much to us. And also try to protect Kane from getting totally surrounded on too many sides. What we could do here, here's another point of advantage that I could tell you about right now, which makes sense, and sometimes you want to go through this. So what I want to kind of say in a more simplified term is battle is a flow. Battle is more of a flow than a stagnant, you know, build up your bricks and, you know, that you got a brick house. If you think about it like that, it's going to be very difficult to do battle. You got to think about other opportunities you're going to have. So this dog could come over here, stand here, and it would make those other monsters not able to move in between Kane. Now, they could try to chain me up with the multiple factor here, but I don't want them to move here, but I could also try to move here so that they can't fully get around me, and I can keep Kane from being chained too effectively. And plus, the reason I don't mind this so much is because their chances of hitting this dog are very small. So let's try that. We got a couple of these guys to go. We'll try hitting with this guy first. He'll do a pretty good amount of damage there, 82. The only problem is my guy's kind of weak to him because green beats blue and all that kind of stuff, right? So we could do a breath attack, you know, obviously, which maybe we should do that. So instead of 74 goes up to 83, probably due to just being a red dot, you know, red burns grass, obviously. So that's kind of how we have to try to think about that. Now we got to see what he can do. This paralyzed wave, this might do a lot of damage, might not do a whole lot. We're doing up to 53 to 52, not as much. Let's see if we can get a straight up kill if we just move in. 52 to 57. He will hurt me a lot, but my position is still pretty good. But 52 to 57, he's going to be down to 27 hit points, as you see on the right here, which most things can hit up over that amount. Obviously, you can see this little number down there next to my face. It's not going to matter at this point all that much with that kind of percent, so I think I'll just go ahead and do the ranged attack, and then I don't have to worry about getting hurt too badly. So sometimes it's like, do I want to get hurt? Am I doing a whole lot of extra damage, or am I just taking a lot of extra damage and just kind of almost doing the same thing that I would have done either way? So seeing as how this guy's a flanker, he's not a tank, let's be a little bit safer with this and keep him back there. Yeah, I know I got the other guy up there that's kind of like a tiny tank. You consider him a flank too, but the only danger he's in is if we keep this guy alive. Because if we keep this guy alive, the Angel could Divine Ray the Hellhound up here, which the Hellhound has no good intelligence, and then these two guys would go blam, blam, and it's gone. It'd be gone in a matter of seconds. So because we chose this approach, we have to now take out the leader. Otherwise our dog could potentially die. Not necessarily. The Angel might go and bomb him, might even bomb my leader. It might do a heal and heal up this guy. You never know. But what I'm trying to tell you is that you got to look at some possibilities and potentials. Not everything you do is in life, when it comes to strategy, is going to be the absolute most perfect thing. But try to find a way to make that work out for you. Right, so we're going to see what they're going to do here. She's going to come over. She's going to put Brave Song on this guy. He's going to have attack up, defense up, hit and evade up, so he could potentially attack something. Surprised he hit the dog. He did hit the dog. So usually dog has really good evasion, defense and stuff. Now that this guy's got attack up, his crits are stronger and all that stuff. And so there's the danger there. He's kind of in the middle of being a tiny tank and a flanker as far as this guy is concerned. But you can see his hit points are almost halved within one turn of striking and all that. It's kind of gone around there. And the reason I kept him kind of close too is so that I can heal. So what I'm trying to do here, if you're trying to look at this from a top-down point of view, you see my healers are kind of like in the center here. It's so my healers can do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and then heal over here, 1, 2, 3, and this healer can go 1, 2, 3, right there, and heal up this dog, and this healer can go up and heal over here. And so I'm keeping my healers nearby in a position that sometimes you want to put them on both sides, sometimes in the center. The safest area is kind of like in the center that surrounds everybody. And basically just imagine you've got this arm that reaches 3 tiles away with a heal, and try to make sure you're touching that tile 3 tiles away, just so you have wiggle room with your knights to be able to move and do stuff. Otherwise, you don't have effective healers. You have to move them up the next turn and then wait the next turn to do it. Right now, because I have them in a good space, I can heal right now and mitigate most of that damage that just ended up happening, right? So let's go ahead and do our heal on our Hellhound. Bring him almost topped off, which is great. You know, not perfectly topped up, but pretty close. And so what do we see here? Well, if dog's going to be in the front, why don't we do a skill? We could do resist. There's no, I mean, there could be some magic damage that happens. So let's do a resist on the dog, because this person's in the front. She could do a thunder strike on my dog, and I don't like that. So we're going to do resist and make him a little more magic defensive, just in case she tries to do something like that. She tries to blow me up with magic. I don't want that to happen, but it could happen. And And so another thing is here too, we got our tank here. Why don't we have our tank take out this tank and move on with our life. Now, we took out that tank. And we might get a monster. I don't know. Maybe we won't get a monster. Okay. So we don't have a... Okay, we did get a monster there. It's a little bit of a blockade. Now, our battlefield has changed a little bit, right? So we got our flank is in a little bit of a... It could be in a kerfluffle. A little bit of a weird position here, but we got our other tanks right here. And we got our tank here. And our tank here. And pretty much our flank here and here, right? So now our position's moved. As it would in chess or some other game that you're playing. So we kind of have more of the inverted V right now, so that's another thing to consider. What we could do is we could pull back and have them come towards us, or we could go on the offense and assault them, considering we took out one of the leaders. They only got 2 leaders left. So it really depends on like what their army's comprised of, and if we just kind of take some stock as to what they've got versus what we've got, we can kind of look at this a little bit closer in detail. Well, they got these 2 guys. This guy's a little buff on him. She could still do some magic, destroy us pretty well. This is just support, so not going to... Could be used for a chaining effect. This guy will be on our team unless we kill it off. It's kind of in our way to get around here. This forest is kind of getting in our way to get around here unless we had a mandrake over here to move through the forest. We could do that better. Otherwise, we're kind of pushed up against this area here. So they still have a pretty good wall to blocking us, but we can advance. We do have some options to advance, and the reason I'm going to say we should is because if we don't advance and we leave this guy here, he could get blasted with a whole bunch of stuff, and I wouldn't like that. I want to give him other opportunities to fight other things, right? So when we're looking at this, our Mandrake is not particularly strong against Bronze Golems because Mandrakes paralyze things. Bronze Golems are resistant to those types of paralyzations. So why don't we bring him up here and just put him here? We'll bring him up later, but what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get her to pull out and do some stuff. So I'm going to get a protect on her so she can go out the front lines and be a frontline tank here. Okay, we're going to get him. He's sort of the flanker here. I just want him to come over here. Just defend the right side a little bit, not do too much damage. They're not going to be moving anytime soon. The good thing is I might be able to paralyze them or something because of this attack if we hit, which we didn't. You know, there are those options. It does happen in battle. Things like that do happen. Alright, before we move forward, though, I want to protect her because they might be able to get around and get her. So, you want to play it safe. You're going to get into the enemy territory. Your ranged characters, she's only level 7, so she's not very high level anyways. They could move somebody in there to attack her, but I do need to get her. I do need to let her get a shot on something. We need to shoot something down. This thing is not as powerful as the Bronze Golem, so we'll take a shot there. This guy is still way back here. He's going to have to come forward. We could do a protect spell on, I don't know, let's say, well, since he's, since he's going to be our new flanker that's going to upgrade up here, and he's going to be a little more in the back line, we'll put the protect spell on him so he can get out there and do some stuff. We are going to have him attack these fairies here. I kind of wish we would get a hit, but we didn't get a hit, so it's whatever. Now that we're so far back, I don't see anybody that really needs any hit points. What you want to do in this game, a lot of the time, is to reposition. You're like, well, I can't do anything with them. I'll just let them sit. This is what I see a lot of people do. This is what, actually, I gotta say, Raging Paul does a lot of the time, which I think he's finally not doing that anymore. But he used to just end the turn with the unicorn and not move it forward. Yeah, it's good if it's back and it's safer, but you're not playing the game to be safer. You're not doing that. It's going to be in a little danger sometimes, and you just got to kind of accept that risk. There's nothing that can really get in between here to get to this space because only this guy could move forward, but he wouldn't do it anyway. So this is relatively safe to put the unicorn in to this spot right here. And so I like that. We'll work on that, and that'll be a pretty good thing. Now, funny enough, they actually lined her up for another breath attack, but we don't have the breath attack. So sometimes I probably should just went for the bite attack and walked away, because then I could have breath attacked her and done other things. So sometimes you want to save the breath attacks, but if you think they're going to run away as you play longer, that could be another option there too. So he has a 34% chance, as he did before, and he hit me with 34% chance to hit. Right up here, it was 49, 34, and he hit me with that low of a percentage. So this game, yeah, you can do it, but it's like, should he have done it? Probably not. Now this is up because he's got that buff on him. I don't want to try that, but we'll try this guy. See if we can get away with damage this time. You know. As we did. Okay, so we were up against the tank, but a very low hit percentage tank, so didn't work out as well for him. I kind of want to try to get around and bite her in the butt, but I don't want him, the dog, taking a whole lot of damage right now. So we're going to move over here, try to swing around the forest, get by that way. Now we can pull forward here. We got the dragon to come to this position, because I'm looking at who we're going to move forward into those positions, and we're going to get the dragon over there. But I want the dragon breath attacking her because she is a green dot. So I'm going to put the dragon right here. So let's move over to the dragon first. So if you got something in your mind, make sure you're playing that out in your head first before you do other things. Dragon's here. But before we do that, another thing is do we need to do a protect spell or anything like that? Do we need to do a heal? We could do a heal with the unicorn and bump him up later. And we can keep our knight on the offense, which could be, you know, useful. All right, let's switch R1. I just do R1 because it just clips right to them right away. Let's get over here. Let's line up for a breath attack over here. And now, yes, we could attack him. He's going to do a lot more damage to us than we're going to do to him. And then I would like to work on him right now, but we'll wait for that buff to fall off. We'll try to tear this thing apart. And really when it comes down to looking for your opportunities, is really just looking for the opportunities that you can find. And that's really kind of the best thing you can do. So I'm going to try to find things that we can hurt and not get hurt too badly, or just plain evade the attack altogether, right? So Kane can move forward. This little guy can move forward here. He can probably attack this thing. I think he's in the forest here, right? So we're moving. Yep. Oh wait, no, it says meadow. That's weird though, too, because when you play the game, you're like, no, I'm in a forest. There's a lot of. They don't count it. Sometimes they don't. They just don't count some of these things. It gets like a little bit weird. All right, so green beats blue are relatively safe doing this, right? Relatively. After all, nothing's ever a perfect guarantee. As much as you wish it would, sometimes it's just not always going to be that way. So we could go for this guy, break him down, but I could also break her down and get this thing out of the way a little bit quicker, which is a little more damage. Yeah, the bronze golem is a tank. It'd be good to take him out first, but if we have an opportunity to take out one of their flanks to swing around and hit him from the side, I would prefer to do that. I just kind of would. So we can move forward a little bit here with this team. So we're essentially we're doing kind of a, we had sort of an invert line and it turned into this kind of shape, and now we're coming back to line. So really, when it comes down to battle, I play a little more aggressively in some ways, and it depends if we're up against a massively strong army. If we're up against a massively strong army, then I'll play a little more defensive. But because we have the opportunity to take out the leader, I'm more confident now to push the pile, and you should probably be too. So what we're going to do is just push a little bit in here. We're going to go for this thing. Okay, we got 95, pretty good. And our Mandrake is the tank right up there, so he's perfectly comfortable doing what he's doing. Let's see, what kind of buff we got. I think we got protect on her, defense up, yep. And should we do a heal with somebody? Okay, so we're still doing pretty good. Still safe to keep your healers where they're at, doing what they're at, doing what they're doing. We didn't really get to do a whole lot with him. Well, we did one. We don't get a whole lot of other protect spells to throw out. Just moving forward. He won't counterattack. I don't know why the game developers went with that, but that's something that they went with. We could move her forward, maybe get a kill, or do something like this. I think we'll do something like this. We'll get her forward. Now, this thing's close to death. The other thing's close to death. So if we're going to look at it from like this position here, this thing's about to get knocked out, right? This thing's getting a little bit lower. This thing's about to get knocked out. It's going to open up opportunities for me to push forward through here and through here to be able to get to their back leaders. I could still keep killing off the monsters and stuff, which I'm going to try to do some of that. But if I keep putting pressure on the wound, it's going to bleed. And that's what I want to do. I want it to bleed. I want it to bleed profusely. And so that's kind of what I do when I'm doing stuff, right? Do we want to get the dragon move forward? You know, we got a flight spell here. What can we do with a flight spell? We could put a flight spell on him and make him kind of fly around wherever he needs to go. This gives me some more opportunities to just move around and do stuff. So now you can see how far we can go. And yeah, I could hit Cyrus, which we could do it, but Cyrus is a little bit stronger than our flanker here. So why don't we take the easy approach and just start wailing away on this guy? Because, you know, it puts more pressure on him overall. Alright, let's just go to heal. Perfect thing about it for this game, remember, do a heal, automatically target the lowest guy. Sometimes it doesn't do it all the time, and sometimes your leader would need it more, but you can just look around and flip through things and see if you need it or not. It heals us up less than 100 hit points. We don't really truly need it at the moment. So why don't we move him up and over here? Maybe we could take out this guy here. He only does 30 points of damage on us, and we got our healer like right up in the front lines. Now, yes, in the future they could pull him out of the way and have the leader come forward and hit the unicorn. That could happen. But as you see, even if they had the opportunity to blast me and do other stuff, I put too much pressure on the wound. They were bleeding too profusely as far as their position, what I was going to do to their monsters, what I already did to their other knight, and it's game over. Thanks for playing the Empire's new team, whatever, Mana Celestia. Thanks for playing Mana Celestia, but Grimolo comes out to win in the end, and there we go. So, I hope that kind of helps you understand some stuff there, as far as what we've been able to put forward and all that. And we'll just look at some levels up here. I'll just explain a couple tidbits at the end of this video. If you enjoy this kind of video, definitely press one of those buttons, you know, hit one of those buttons down below. Help this video out. And I'll explain myself a little better in some ways here, as far as why I did what I did, and why you should probably do some of that too. So now your battle's not going to be exactly the same as mine, right? It's just not going to be. We're going to have differences of the way things roll out, the way things work. But you saw that once we got pushed into a position where we had an opportunity to take out a leader or take out a high-level monster or do something like that, and there wasn't any real big repercussions for doing so, because I got like 5 attacks. He's got about 500 hit points, average about 100 hit points an attack. Roughly get him low enough if we have a chance to move out, or if we have another ranged person close by, we're going to have a good opportunity for taking it out. Now, there was a chance we could have lost the Hellhound, but I was kind of banking on the fact that we weren't. I was banking on the fact that he was going to evade most of those Golem attacks. I didn't see that they were going to put that Brave Song on one of the Golems to guarantee the hit, and I had no idea a 34% chance was going to work with the other one. So I was banking on that flanker mini tiny tank to evade most of those attacks and just not get hurt. But that kind of stuff can happen, obviously, where they can do things that you're just not expecting. So don't go into battle thinking like everything's a super plan that can't be countered in any way. Those things can happen, like you just saw, and you could get surprise bombed and surprise lose a monster. But if you have a plan that's like 80 to 90% pretty good, you're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to work. Try to go with that plan. And whether you're coming in with a V formation or a line formation, honestly, those are good conceptual ideas, and it's great, like, if you're thinking chess from, like, the starting point, well, this position beats that position, beats this position, beats that position, and it works in chess, but in this game, with all the variables of missing, crits, hit point levels, orbs, there's like 4 or 5 different factors that could just change that whole parameter right there. So what I would say is just make sure you have most of your tanks in the front, like what you saw, how I was playing that. And if they're tiny tanks or flankers, be a little careful about them. They can still do good damage, and sometimes the flankers do more damage than the tanks do. But sometimes the flankers, like the Hellhound, has more opportunities. So if I can do an attack and I can move around and now trap him in a different way or do something else, usually the flankers have different opportunities the tanks typically don't get. So you kind of want to use the flankers kind of like knights. You know how knights are in chess, where they kind of move around and they hit this position, or they move around that, hit that position in an L shape. You kind of want to do something like that, where you're just like, yeah, I could probably do this, because the tanks are pretty simple. Tanks are mostly like the rooks. They go that way, they go that way. You know, they don't really veer off their paths too much, like the dragons or snake breath attacks. It's just very simple. You're thinking about a rook piece, just doing one particular thing, and you know, you can do it that well. But yeah, when it comes to the battle, try to think about your position. Try to think about being a little fluid with the battle, as Bruce Lee would say, you know, be like water, right? So be a little fluid with the battle, where you can kind of move forward a little bit. You can kind of like change your position. You know, it's like, okay, now that I did this, I kind of have to take this position here, and now this is now point. Instead of before this was point with this dragon, now this is point, maybe with a golem instead, or maybe with my leader, who is now performing the tank pinnacle opportunity. You know, think about how you can kind of step it up and move forward. So I know this was kind of a big video here, but I hope this explains a couple things, and I hope you're able to learn something from this. If you want a more complex, difficult battle in the future, please let me know. I think this will kind of do it for the intermediate, you know, I'll just call this intermediate. I can't think about what I want to call this video, but this will probably do it for the intermediate battle here. And if you want to see something more complex, maybe fighting against Rudo or something like that, that's I could do something like that, or fighting up against a really strong army when you're coming up against it. I would say just play more defensive, probably try the V shape, maybe don't break your ranks, don't go after things if you think there's too much to deal with. But when you find the opportunity like you see here, and you will get these opportunities do come up a lot. You just have to add the numbers. How many guys do I have to hit it with? What's the average damage I could do with that? You could pretty much do it in your head, and I just did it in my head, and it happened within, like, you know, after he moved over, like almost exactly like I was talking about. So it can be as simple or as complicated as you want, you know, as far as how you're going to do your battle. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next Brigandine guide video or challenge video. I don't know what we'll be doing next, but yeah, give me some suggestions down below. I will be very, very happy to go along with and help you out with that. All right. All right, knights, thank you so much for subscribing as well. I truly appreciate that.